Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 10 out of Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, I'm going to be speaking on Chickenwing, The Walking Dead.
Baby, get higher, baby. Get higher, girl.
And no disrespect to Chickenwing, because, bro, I know you're home now. But me and Chickenwing were at Appalachia Correctional Institution, 2014, 2015, inside of I-4. And he was an older dude. He looked like he had survived a nuclear bomb. Or, you know, if you ever played the game Fallout, he looked like a ghoul. But Chickenwing was a cool dude. He was an older white guy, completely tatted up. He had his whole chest, stomach, arms, legs, everything was tatted. And the reason they called him Chickenwing is because his arm and hand, it was messed up.
Help! Here. Oh, take my hand.
Now, the reason I say he's the Walking Dead is also the same reason I respected him in a sense. He wasn't affiliated with any gang. I'm not sure how long he had been down. I can check the DOC site. I know that he's home now, and I skimmed through his charges. He didn't have anything crazy that he was charged with or nothing like that, just theft and stealing shit. But Chickenwing was sick. And AIDS, HIV, whichever he had, it was in full effect. He was taking medication. And the reason I say I respect him about it is because the man that tattooed me inside of our dorm in cell 1 was the same man that tattooed Chickenwing. And Chickenwing went to him and told him out front, this is what I have. Do you still feel comfortable tattooing me? And I respect that so much because so many people within the DOC won't go that extra mile. Even though the tattoo man is going to be as safe as he possibly can, to have someone flat out tell you so you at least can make the decision on, am I going to continue with this? Is it worth the money? Or do I want to just not do it? It's respectable. You know, when you're sick, a lot of the people that have AIDS, HIV, all that, I don't know too much about either or. And I'm not necessarily trying to learn in the comments or everyone that's going to be like, oh, well, this one is this. And I'm not that interested. All I know is in prison, they got to line up after chow and they all got to take a pill or multiple pills. And it's basically the sick line. It's the zombie line. Everybody in that line is considered the Walking Dead. They all have a deadly disease. And even though it isn't as bad as it once was, it's still feared amongst the DOC. And usually the only group of people that are getting it, it's going to be the booty bandits, the punks, the sissies. We don't really have anybody that's shooting up inside of prison that I've seen or experienced. I did see heroin inside of prison once. It's not that common though. So I wouldn't say people are swapping it through drug use. They're swapping it through prison sex. And back in the day, you know, I read a thing written by Charles Norman, who's also incarcerated, still incarcerated, been down a long time, and he wrote about it. And it was called the ninja back in the day because it would sneak up and kill you in your sleep. Back then, if you were to catch it, you would die pretty fast. You would start to deteriorate, and then you would eventually die. Somewhat similar to what happened to Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen. Obviously, he looked a lot different when he was younger, and then the disease affected him to the point that he died. But Chickenwing at least went that extra mile and was able to tell the tattoo man, look, I have this. And the reason this can be so fucking dangerous and disgusting inside of the Department of Corrections, when we have to shave our hair in the barbershop, there's usually 2 sets of clippers. If you've ever seen barber clippers, it's a row of teeth on the clipper themselves. And in prison, multiple teeth will be broken, chipped off. If you push too hard cutting somebody's hair, you're going to cut them open. They're going to bleed. Everybody wants to get lined up. If your barber isn't good at it, he's going to end up cutting you. The barber side that they use to clean the clippers it's watered down. And I mean to the point that they'll take probably 15, 20% barbicide and fill the rest of it up with water. You know what I'm saying? And they're not dunking the clippers in there. They're not just letting them sink in. They're just rubbing them with the toothbrush, an old toothbrush. It's not sanitary. Chickenwing, without putting his information out there for everyone to know, would always wait to have his hair cut last. And sometimes he would get in trouble for that. Because if you're told to cut your hair, it's growing, too much or whatever, and the CEO has already told you, you're expected to go do that. But at the same time, being an inmate that is sick, if you cut your hair and you bleed on them clippers and someone else gets their hair cut and finds out you have some shit, they don't even need to prove that they have it. That can make you a target. They can take out some frustration on you because of the fact that you could have just infected them. And the thing about Chickenwing is every single time he shaved his head or anything, he would bleed. He would always have these spots of blood that would trickle, and it was like his head was sensitive, like his skin was sensitive. You got to shave your face. We weren't allowed to have beards until the end of that year, right before I went home. So he's always bleeding on these fucking clippers, and he would tell the people like, yo, you got to clean this a little bit extra, but it's nasty as shit. And I remember one time a CEO tried to get me to cut my hair right after Chickenwing used the clippers, and I was refusing. And I was getting into it with the CEO about this situation because I'm like, there's no way in fucking hell. There's no way. I'm 20 years old. I'm not going to catch some shit and go home with this shit because you want to make me cut my hair. I'm going to fucking go to confinement. It is what the fuck it is. And it's even worse in confinement because it's the same exact thing. They just take you out of your cell and they'll shave your head. But it's optional sometimes. Sometimes it isn't. But usually the CEOs just want to rush through it, so they're not going to make you shave your head. But if the captain or something, they do rounds inside of confinement, they see your hair's mad long, they're going to make you shave that shit. And the CEOs are going to come down and make you shave it. And unless you're going to run it with them refusing a haircut, it's just not going to work out for you. You can become unintentionally sick in the Department of Corrections. You can unintentionally contract the disease because of the way the DOC runs. And not every sick person is willing to get inside of that line and show everyone, yeah, I got to take this pill too. They might come up with an excuse, say it's a different pill. You get up behind them, you see what they take. I think it was a red one if I'm not mistaken. You have some people that enjoy having sex with punks, with boys. They're openly gay or whatever it is in prison. And they don't want the punks to know that they have something. Like the case that I did about Sparkles. Sparkles was having sex with a dude who was refusing to go and get a test, which ended up being the reason allegedly that he was stabbed by Sparkles, who was a punk. He didn't want the punks to know he had this shit because then the punks aren't going to want to get with him. And I know this is somewhat nasty to hear because we're talking about grown men getting with each other inside of prison. But this is the fucking reality of prison. And if you don't want to experience this bullshit, see this shit, or smell this shit in the air when somebody's getting piked out in the back stall, then you want to stay the fuck out of prison, right? So you will have people that will literally hide it to their best ability and spread it. And from what I know, blood to blood is how it's getting passed, whatever. This was one of the biggest reasons I didn't want to fight adults in the adult prison system. Was because of the fact if you hit somebody's tooth and it cuts your knuckle and their mouth is bleeding and your blood gets mixed with their blood, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. You don't know if you just got something. I don't even know if you can get something like that. But you will be moved inside of cells where there's still blood on the walls. I've seen it plenty of times in confinement. People will tear it down. They need to get swapped rooms, so they put two other people in that room, split up the two bunkies that just fought. They barely clean the blood out of the cell. You got blood on the walls, blood on the floors. You got people getting fucked up inside of the dorm and the inmates clean it themselves. We're only getting bleach from the booth and we're only using bleach for our whites. We're not bleaching down the cell to clean it. Somebody's just going to wipe that with a shirt and hope that it's gone. It's nasty in here. There's DNA all over the fucking place. This is why you can't take a shower without your fucking shower slides. because you got little spermicides swimming around on the fucking shower floor. And I've said this before in other videos. I asked a nurse. She was my favorite nurse at Appalachia CI. I'm not going to put a name out there because obviously it's her real name. She never nickname. But I was inside of medical and I was getting my blood test because you got to get your blood work done before you go home. So you're going to actually know when you go home if you got that shit. And you're going to have a paper that's going to say either yes or no to being a fucking zombie. Obviously, I don't fucking have this shit. But I asked her, you know, how many people be having it? Because the rumor at Appalachia Correctional was it was 85% of the compound had AIDS. And I don't believe she clarified the percentage. But she told me, surprisingly enough, the majority of people that have it are young. Young being like under, let's say, 28. The majority of the people that have it claim to be straight. And the majority of people that have it are usually the ones that have the most females on the street. The pretty boys that get all the girls. They either catch it on the street or they come to prison. And they have this sexual desire, this lust that they're unable to control. So they start experimenting with the punks. They catch it and then they bring it back out to that female on the street and continue to spread it. Prison is a nasty fucking place. But I respect Chickenwing because he was honest and upfront. I never heard of him playing with punks or anything like that. So I don't know how he actually contracted it. But I respect the fact that he respected others, even though he had that disease. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. Till next time.